You guys are the best. It's late in the afternoon, but we've got a really exciting segment coming up I think you're going to really love, because I know this weekend we spent a lot of time talking about the shopping annuity, haven't we? But I know as we've talked about it, somebody said, well, I get the concept. It makes 100% sense, but I'm struggling maybe recruiting with it, or I'm struggling, where do I go after I recruit with it? And I brought on a panel of experts who are going to help us with this. I guess if I could, Dr. Dave, a little bit of your background, and why don't you also tell us a little bit, how are you approaching people with the shopping annuity? Now, you've gone from, we were just talking backstage, you have gone from coordinator to professional coordinator in what, the last 6 months or so?
Yeah, like 8 months.
7, 8 months. Congratulations, that's outstanding.
Thank you. So, I was introduced, I was actually, through the power of social media, following a Facebook, a friend of mine, Donna Hoy from Rochester, New York. And I was intrigued at what she was doing, because she was posting these things, sounded like she had, something going on. And as a chiropractor in the healthcare system, the way things are these days, copays and deductibles are getting higher and higher. Insurance reimbursement rates are going down and down. We were looking for, possibly a home-based business, and we just kind of stumbled upon this. Donna came to my office and showed me the shop.com site, and I was very intrigued because I was already buying almost everything exclusively online through another company that begins with the letter A, but I won't mention that here. So I was very intrigued, and then what she did is we did a trial run, and Mr. Shopping Annuity came to my house. I invited a few friends over, and they got the picture too. So right away we had our partners, Michelle and Tom Charland, and it was the shopping annuity aspect, the shop.com site, that really intrigued me, because the other company I was shopping from online, they never gave me any cash back. They didn't have a shop buddy, and I never got one commission check from them. So it was really a no-brainer just to do the business. I knew there were products associated with it, but that wasn't what intrigued me. And I think that's important for people, for Nutrimetrics consultants, to realize that you can't hide the shop.com site. That is huge. That's going to attract a lot of people into this business. And another partner of mine out there, Dr. John Rosa, he was very intrigued by the shopping annuity concept. And we have our Puerto Rico partners here, Waldemar Lugo and his wife Ellie, and the same with them. It was that aspect, the shop.com site, that intrigued these people. And then once I got introduced to the products, that was a game changer, and tons of testimonials from the products. But the way I recruit is mainly through the power of social media, through Facebook. I've recently received 3 messages. One was an email, one was a text message, and the other one was a Facebook private message of people asking me, what is the shopping annuity? What is that all about? Because every time I post anything related to this business, to Market America, I'm always hashtagging shopping annuity. So I have a lot of reverse recruiting happening.
A lot of people contacting you.
People are coming to me, and that's been my primary source of recruiting, is letting the people come to me by putting the information out there. And Big Al uses the term, let's go fishing instead of hunting. Initially, when I got into the business, I was more of a hunter, but now I'm more of a fisher, and I'm finding that's more effective. Let the people come to you, and it works a lot better that way. I'm getting better results, recruiting more people that way.
Great. So, just to bring a couple things back, so we're talking to a chiropractic doctor who is recommending and stating that it's important to also talk about the shop.com site, not just our products. Am I correct in that? I want to make sure everybody's hearing this correctly.
Absolutely, that's right. You got to, any NCs out there, you need to at least present some of the shop.com site. Let the health professionals be aware of that, because maybe that's going to be the difference maybe they see Nutrimetrics. If I was just presented with Nutrimetrics, I may not have been interested. I probably wouldn't. Actually, a chiropractor did approach me about Nutrimetrics. I'm like, nah, that's all right. I'm good. I got the supplements I use, and I like my lines. But it wasn't until the shop.com site was presented that, yeah, now I'm interested.
Okay, so it's really the combination of everything. It gave you some different avenues to look at as you're doing. That's great. That's very interesting, I think, for people to hear as well. I know personally I would have thought maybe the opposite way, so that's great to hear that for other people. Roxanne, how about a little background on you?
I'm a registered nurse, and I started my business a long time ago, but I was able to quit my part-time job 10 months into the business.
Okay. Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, doing this.
And tell us a little bit about how do you approach people with the shopping annuity aspect of the business?
Well, it really depends on the person, because sometimes it's a motives approach, sometimes it's going to be a health and wellness TLS approach, but the shopping annuity is critical because if they're not going to buy into that, I don't want them. So it's really important. Posture.
So you approach people, and this is important, I think, for people to understand. There's times you may approach somebody, it may be on motives, it may be through the products, but you're adding in the shopping annuity part of it no matter what.
Right, and sometimes it's just it's literally a shopping annuity approach. Like I was at CVS when I got here on Wednesday, and I had a gift app, and the girl at the checkout counter is like, "What's that?" Well, hello, got her number. She hates her job, so calling her next week.
Okay, and when you do approach people, so let's say you've somehow gotten into where they know a little bit about what you're doing. How do you approach them with the shopping annuity? Where does that come up? Is it in person, online, like
always,
Dr. Jameson?
every aspect. I do a lot on social media. In fact, I have another girl that just messaged me, and she's like, "I want to get started on Tuesday," and she's been in the funnel for a year. So a lot of people, follow-up is so important. I think I sponsored 9 people since Miami. I want to say all 9 of them approached me. So it's really like that reverse recruiting and keeping people in the funnel until they see the light and they're ready. And drip on Facebook. Don't massacre it, just drip.
So you've sponsored 9 people since World Conference, but everyone approached you.
Yes.
I think we should all follow you on Facebook and find out what are you doing, because that's
But
great,
it's not
whatever
all
you're
social
doing.
media either.
What?
It's not all social media.
Yeah.
I had a girl that I showed. She asked to look at the plan about a year and a half ago. I showed it to her. Timing wasn't good. I came back from World Conference. She called me. She's like, "I'm ready." I'm like, "What do you mean you're ready?" She's like, "I'm ready to get going." She had been on product. And I'm like, "Ready to get going with what? I don't understand." And she's like, "Well, I watched the whole conference on YouTube. I want to get started with the business." I was like, "Well, no, we gotta revisit everything." But she partnered, and she's a great retailer.
Great. Sarah, how about you? Background?
Okay, my name's Sarah Rose, and I actually went to school for fine arts. I studied dance and music, and I'm a mom. I have a 10-year-old son and a 7-year-old son, and I'm the wife of the Stack Life.
And how have you incorporated shopping annuity into your recruiting and doing? I know you and Ryan do very well with this.
Great, yeah. So there's really 2 things that I found really work to attract people, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking to attract people because you can't sell someone the entire concept in a post or in a single conversation. You guys agree with that? It's a big concept, right? And I love what you said, David, because I find that when I'm posting, if I just include the hashtag shopping annuity, that really resonates with people because people get what the word shopping means and they get what the word annuity means. And so they want to know what it means together. What's that? What's the shopping annuity? It starts a conversation. And so, I think it's too big of a task to try and recruit with that. You have to just start the conversation and keep it simple. And just get people interested so that they want to know more. If you go too big or if you're too weird about it, then you're not going to have that conversation. And actually, Russell Polo taught me this. Don't be weird about it. If I walked around here and I said, "Hey, you want a Band-Aid? You want a Band-Aid? You want a Band-Aid? You want a Band-Aid?" You'd all be looking at me like I was nuts. Like, why is she offering me a Band-Aid, right? But, Elizabeth, if you fell and scraped your knee and I walked over to you and I said, "Hey, you just got hurt. I have a Band-Aid. Do you want one?" You'd be like, "Yeah, that's really great. Thank you so much. I need that." You know what I mean? Like, I'm servicing a need. You have to talk to people like people and stop trying to recruit and be all heavy about it. The second thing that I find that really works, and maybe this is just my demographic, is I'm a mom, And I know a lot of other families that are looking to save money. And so if you've heard of the term retail to recruit, we like to do that with shopping. You know, everybody's always talking about saving money and, you know, oh, I got this at Costco or I got this saving here. And I'm like, I can save you money too. And actually, I can make sure you never pay more for anything that you need in your house again. But again, it's just a conversation starter. And then from there, it's like retailing to recruit. It's like anything in this business. You can't recruit anybody with the whole concept. You have to start somewhere, and you have to. The win is how many conversations can you start.
So you're very right. How many times have you been out with people and they brag about the money they saved doing something, right? Oh, I got this on a deal. I got this on a deal. What'd you say again, Sarah? Because you said it quick. I want to make sure everybody. So let's say I was saying, oh, I got this great deal at Costco or whatever. You came back and said, I can show you.
So a great example. So I have a friend of mine that owns a cookie business, and that's exactly what she was saying. I get all of my. She gets gluten-free. Flour with xanthan gum, which I don't even know what xanthan gum is, but now I do because of shop.com. And I'm like, well, how much do you pay? Let me look it up on my website. I bet you I could save you some money and pay you. And that was interesting to her. She was like, what do you mean you're going to pay me to buy something and get me a better deal than Costco? Nobody gets it better than Costco. I pay a lot of money to get this if I get it on the stores. So just by being specific and solving that one little need, it starts a conversation from there. And it's happening now too. It's football season. Every single family is out buying cleats and girdles and pads and all this other stuff. Let me show you how to do that better. And now we're having permission to have that conversation in the first place.
Great. Don, obviously a director in the company. You and Lisa have had a huge amount of success. You've been a top recruiter for the company a number of years, one of the top people as we've looked at the reports. Give us your background a little bit and what you're doing. I know I was fortunate enough to watch you in a local seminar, and I really picked some great things up. And one of the things that when we thought of you for this, I heard, so I'd love for you to share that.
Thank you, Jim. I started at 23 years old. And my background was in construction. I was a roofer. So like Big Al says, if a roofer can do it, anybody can do it, you know? And since then, met my wife in the company and have recently, Jim, actually become Lisa Martin's executive assistant, which is pretty cool too. So that's been.
You're doing a heck of a job.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you, yeah. So, started at 23, by 26, had a full-time income, walked away from the construction business, and this is what I've done. But when the shopping annuity started coming out, I got really excited because I thought about the money that I would have saved if I were still in construction. You know, and that was a revelation to me because I'm like, wait a minute, I used to spend tens of thousands of dollars a month at places like Home Depot, and I never got cash back. Mm-hmm. And I also never was able to fund anything with what I spent. Basically, the corporate conglomerates were profiting off me every month, and I was getting nothing back for it. So I got excited about it right away, and it just made sense. So I decided to really embrace the shopping annuity, really take the time to understand it, because I realized that we can get paid off of everything everyone does, but starting with ourselves, and that's really what it was all about. So for me, social media is a great way. I've really taken to social media and hashtags, and you guys really hit that well. But I'm an organic guy. You know, I'm a 3-foot rule type of person because I still believe that the best prospects you'll find, you're going to just accidentally trip over in everyday life. Mm-hmm. And so a couple questions, I'm a major advocate on just asking questions. And if you ask enough questions, they'll bring the business up to you. You won't have to bring it up to them. So whether it be at a site to store pickup or whether it be, you know, stopping at the grocery store for something quick, anybody that I get within 3 foot of, basically, the 3-foot rule, I try to start a conversation. And within a couple, you know, generic organic conversation, typically I'll bring up the shopping at some level and I'll ask them, so something to the effect of, so how much did you get paid for your purchase today? You know, just kind of, so how much did you, or did you fund your shopping annuity with that purchase? And they were like, what are you talking about? What's a shopping annuity, you know? And I'm like, and I'll ask a little surprised, like, you don't have one? Or you're still paying full price for the things you're buying anyway? We might need to talk because people are getting set up right now. Listen, if you haven't heard of it yet, you're going to hear of it now, or you're going to hear of it soon. We're going to have to talk about that. So I love the asking questions, and it's very, very casual because it comes up. So it's not like I'm just throwing a question at them that was weird. It really comes to the point where they're curious, and you're there, especially when you're talking about terms like Sarah Rose said, shopping, annuity. It makes them curious, and they have to know what it's all about if you do it right, for sure.
Don, what about the old classic? Like, so let's say you're you are starting a conversation with somebody, and then they say, well, what is it you're talking about? What do you do?
Well, basically for me, I actually have a proprietary platform that allows us to take people's existing spending and turn it into a check that can become weekly for the rest of their life.
Wow, could you repeat that, please? As close as you can.
Close as I can.
Yeah.
I actually own and operate a proprietary software that allows us to track people's spending and convert all their spending into a check for them on a residual basis.
Fantastic. Excellent. So I remembered, again, along the same lines during your local doing that. Dave, let's go back to you. Obviously, you've done well recruiting. I was researching your numbers as well, and very high over the last year, and a lot of that with the shopping annuity. You said, you've done it through different ways, but as you bring people in the business, one of the things I think, sometimes people get a little bit concerned about, not when you bring them in, when you approach them. Like, what do you show them after you've started this conversation? Now maybe you've booked an appointment. We've talked shopping annuity, but what do you sit down and show them? Do you do a flip chart? Do you do a PowerPoint? Do you take them online? How do you do it?
The way I do it is I try to do a coffee shop appointment, just a 2-on-1 appointment, and then I don't like to send them any information. I just I want to book the appointment. I don't want to send them really a video or anything. I just say, let's get together and I'll tell you what it's all about. It's too complicated for me to try to send you any information or explain it over the phone. And then once I book that appointment, then first I'll do the shop.com portal tour the way Mr. Shopping Annuity, Carl Eklund, has taught me. After that, I like to use the PowerPoint presentation. I don't use the flip chart myself, but I rearranged the slides a little bit and I try to condense it on a 2-on-1 so that they're not getting overloaded, that they're just getting bits of information, so they're going to need to book a follow-up.
So it's more of a condensed presentation this first time.
Yes, but I moved the shopping annuity, not that everyone should do this, or I know you have your own way it's in the plan, but I moved it to the front of the plan, and I like to open with that, the shopping annuity, because I feel that's the strong point of this business at this time, and I want to get that point across right away, is that we're converting our spending into earning. You're already spending this money anyways. Do you buy garbage bags, dish soap, laundry detergent, shampoo, conditioner, tires for your car? You're buying it today, you're going to buy it tomorrow, you're going to buy it for the rest of your life, but are you getting paid on it? No. So why not get paid on this? Lock arms together with this big co-op that we have, and we're all going to, make money together on ordinary stuff that we're buying anyways.
Oh, great. Do you take them online to the shop.com site at all? To your personal site? Do you go online during that first appointment ever?
I go to my shop.com site.
Okay,
yes.
Great.
And, show them, just go through the basic things. I'll show them e-gifts quickly. I'll do the price comparison. Show them Shop Buddy, travel that we're partnered with travel stores, and then I go into the auction site and show them the shop travel. And that's always, when I show that, people are always like dropping their jaw, and everybody that sees that, I haven't had one person that's not like ecstatic about seeing that travel, because everybody likes to travel, but the only reason we don't is because either we don't have the time or we don't have the money, but now we can.
Perfect. Roxanne, how about you when you sit down with somebody?
I do it totally different. I do a 30-minute phone always, overview, interview, because I don't want to waste my time with people that are going to waste my time, and I don't have time to waste. So form, give me occupation, recreation, money, I've got to find a why. And then from there, I do a complete overview verbally of the company from Jared's vision when he was creating the MPCP all the way through to the shopping annuity. And then obviously they have a why. I figured that out already. And then if they have interest, then I book them and I show the full plan. I don't mess around. Second step is the full plan. Get them to lead to people. Third step is the shop.com tour. And on the shop.com tour, I do Carl's thing too, you know. But the big thing with the shop.com tour, so many people say, oh, I'm a Prime member, you know what I mean? And I'm like, ugh. So what I do is I literally go to Amazon, you guys. I do a lot of things screen sharing because I'm building all over the country. So I use free conference calls, screen sharing. But it's scary sometimes because I'll just say, okay, give me an item you would like to buy on Amazon. And I'll say, which one do you like? And then I will literally copy and paste it, go to shop.com, and I'm telling you 99% of the time, it's always cheaper on our site.
Great.
So
Whoa.
that blows people away.
Yeah.
And then that third step is they have to do the shopping advisor, they have to do the Nutri-Physical, they have to do the skincare analysis. I need to see how much BV they're generating, and once you guys get your stuff done, I won't have to do that anymore. They'll save a step. And then I do the shopping assessment with them. That's the clincher, because when you do the projections, I do it as you're going to hit UFO every quarter. I try to be like, we're perfect. Everybody's hitting the SABP, right? So those are the numbers that I use. In a year, typically they're at 6 figures. So then I said, what if you screw it up 75% of the time? You're going to be making $25,000 extra dollars in your pocket. So that's that process. And then it's a no-brainer.
So during your process, you said you use form first, maybe even on the phone, talking to them.
Over the phone.
Then you get together, show them the complete business plan, typically.
Yes.
And then maybe in another appointment, you're doing some of these steps like the assessment, the
Correct.
Nutri-Physical, things like that. So you might be a 3-step,
Like
4
4 step.
steps before
Four-step.
they're coming in the business sometimes
Yeah,
for you.
4.
Okay, great. So and this is what I wanted people to hear. Sometimes, do people recruit in different ways? Yeah, but tremendous success both ways, still focusing that. Sarah, how about you?
So we always start with, I always start with cash back, because people have to understand the basic concept that they can earn something for all of their spending. So we start there, and my whole business education is in this business, so we talk in themes from there. We figure out what themes are interesting to them, and we take it from there. How can you take that little bit of cash back, which is really cool, right, as a consumer, and how can you actually create an ongoing income on top of that? So you get their interest, again, you get them to want to see more, and from there you just book them into a shopping annuity overview. And sometimes we don't get to the 4 steps. Sometimes we're really just trying to get them to buy into the concept of, okay, yeah, this is spent money. Because what we found is, if they don't get that one thing, if they don't believe that it is truly spent money that's going to fund this asset that they're going to build, nothing else matters. So we have to do that, and that's actually what I find is the most powerful thing for us with recruiting is, from there, sometimes it's more effective for us to just go right into the assessment and not even go through the 4 steps in the PowerPoint. We just skip right to the assessment and say, this is what it could mean for you. Then the next part of that is, so by the way, so they have like an actual number that means something to them, right? I'm not saying this is what the average household spends. Maybe they don't make $60,000 a year. And so if you're showing them statistics of $60,000 a year and they only make 35, you immediately make them feel excluded or like they can't be successful with this system. And so if we perform the assessment and show them the power of the assessment, regardless of their income, gone back to the PowerPoint and explain the concept of the forced multiplier, here's the magic closing point. They now understand that their income or what they're spending doesn't matter because they're not paid on just what they're spending. They're paid on duplicating that with everybody's income and everybody's spent income.
A huge point. Force multiplier, and it's not just based on them, which is how they've probably felt their whole life, like most of us did. Only what we could do.
I want to add on that because it's very key, because when I was talking to a guy that's 23 years old, and he's got $5,000 that he could transfer over to shop.com, but then I talked to another woman that had $60,000 that she could funnel through the business. So I always like to explain to people that at different stages in life, your spending is different. So when you're young, it's low. My age, it's very high because I got teenagers, and it will eventually go lower, you know what I mean? But it doesn't matter because of the forced multiplier.
Exactly, yeah.
Great. Don?
Yes, sir. So Jim, I'm just going to role play with you for a second here. So you and I met the other day at the grocery store, and
Walmart.
Or Walmart, whatever it was. Yeah, we met at Walmart getting some groceries, and you had mentioned that you'd like to get paid for your purchases. And what I'm about to tell you is something that the brands the corporate profit machines and really Wall Street doesn't want you to know about, because they pretty much like to reserve the margins and profits for themselves. But we have a way to actually capture some of that for people. So I just like to create a little bit of curiosity there and really engage them and see if they're ready for this. And then I go right into, and I might make some adjustments from what you said because it makes sense, but I go right to the slides from the UBP that are talking about the shopping annuity, the 3 moving slides that are about the shopping, and I go right to that. And I start talking about the averages. And I say, now understand some people make more or less than this, but I'm just going to show you some averages of where money's being spent today and also where the margins actually go, because a lot of people aren't aware of that. So I'll go through and I'll say, right now, currently, different demographics across the country, it can be a wide range of incomes, but the mean average income across the U.S. is about $56,000 after taxes. Of that money, over 51,000 of it is being spent on stuff. Groceries like you were buying at Walmart, everything else, shoes, clothing, everything. So what a lot of people don't realize is, do you realize that every one of the dollars that you're spending of that 51,000, or it could be less, if it could be more if you're making more, less if you're making less, but every one of those dollars have a profit margin on it that's going to somebody. Yeah, and it's big profits. That's where these billion-dollar companies come from. So what we figured out a way to do was capture some of those margins, a large piece of those margins, and redistribute it both in savings and then also in earning that could pay a residual income for the rest of your life. And that's it.
Boom.
I'm in.
There you go.
I loved it. It was great. Wonderful. Sarah, did you want to add something on there?
I'm just Don Martin's fan. That was
You're Don Martin's
I really,
fan.
really
All right.
enjoyed that. I
Hear
love
that, Ryan?
that.
Hear that, Ryan?
You know,
Don, let me start back with you on something else. So now we've shown them the business plan. They're excited. Maybe they're ready to get started. How do we move them towards our BV products and towards our events, getting them to things like this? Because, we sort of talked about this saving and cash back. And how do we make that transition to a full business owner?
So that's a great point. Now, I love talking about return on investment now, because now we're talking about an annuity, and I say, and that's what our shopping annuity is after I get to that point. And there's a lot of products and services on the market that have large margins, some smaller margins, but because we're a broker, and I talk about the brokerage concept, that we broker products and services from a vast number of manufacturers and a ton of partner stores, we have our pick of the litter, so to speak, and we can choose and select the best product in the world. Some are from our partners, but some we actually have the ability to lock in exclusive contracts for those. And when we do that, we can get very substantial margins. When you talk about funding an annuity with big margins, and we can capture those margins and give it back in both savings and commissionable credit, basically, which I'm about to show you in our business plan, that allows us to maximize a return on investment based upon a purchase because of the margins we get from exclusive products. And the only thing we offer, because of the brokerage concept, the only thing we have is the best in class. And that makes it so when you start using those brands, I can introduce you to those and you'll learn they're the best out there and they're more profitable to you. So you can spend $100 at a partner store, you'll still get something for it when I show you the plan. But if you spend $100 through an exclusive product, you're going to get it at basically wholesale, quote unquote, unfranchised owner cost versus retail. You're going to save money, but you're also going to have close to 80% return on investment in our annuity payment for life versus a 2 to 15% on the partner stores.
Awesome. Sarah?
Yeah, so 2 things. First thing is I like to explain our exclusive brands and our partner stores a little differently, but I like what you said about the margins. I'm going to steal part of that. So I like to say, look, if I went to Target and I bought a Target brand, do you think Target makes more money on their own brand, or do they make more money on, some other brand that they're pushing as a broker? They make more money on their own brands. And so we have that exact same concept here. We have our own exclusive brands, and we can offer more credit for them because they're our exclusive brands. And we also have partnerships with other stores as well, which we also offer credit for.
That's a great point. I hope everybody really picked that up. I mean, that's like when you go, if you go to into any store that carries its own brand, that's where they make their big money.
Yeah.
So people can relate to this. I'm sorry to interrupt, but that was a big point.
Thanks. Yeah, they don't understand our language yet, so you have to give them analogies so that they can understand the concept. And then from there, look, it's the MPCP, right? The shopping annuity is nothing without the MPCP, which means they have to understand the business. And so after they understand the concept of the shopping annuity, they want to know, how do I get paid in that MPCP? The plan is a natural progression. It's not a weird thing because it is the shopping annuity. It's exactly what fuels the shopping annuity, what allows you to be paid that residual income.
Perfect. Great. Roxanne?
How do I get people to convert, right, over to our stuff? I covered that with the overview interview. I show the plan. So they already know about our exclusive products. I get very big into the product brokerage. I definitely talk about the 80% versus 1 to 20 on shop.com. So you always have to cover the differences. But when I do the shopping advisor, that's when I do their first product training. So they already know, why is this one better? Why is that one better? You know, what are you saving? You know what I mean? So the transition isn't so hard. The next step is to put stickies on their house, on all the products when they run low. I'll do it on Skype if they're at a distance, or a Sharpie, whatever. And if they're local, I literally go to their home and do a home inspection and tell them, when this runs out, this is what you get. When this runs out, this is what you get. And that's how you transition them over.
Great.
Well, working with my team, you have to be a product of the product, and we've embraced that as a family. My wife and kids, they didn't shop online, prior to this business. So now, we do pretty much exclusively as much as we can. We just moved recently, and we're buying new stuff for the house. We're looking at items at Home Depot, and we're telling the guy, well, we can get this through our own portal, and well, he's like, well, we have Wi-Fi here. Okay, so we walked out to the car, got our computer, walked in Home Depot, and we're placing the order for the items that we wanted. And he was like very intrigued, and he wanted to know more. So I got his contact information just from that. But I'm getting back to the point. You got to be a product of the product, and we're trying to walk the walk, talk the talk, and then your team will do what you do in excess. So if you're doing that, then they're going to want to do that. Where I lived before, it's kind of a small town, and there's other, Market America business owners. So if you are in the store and you're buying something you can get through your portal, you better be careful because you don't know who's behind your back. So it's, it keeps us honest, and we have corings on, where we can get maybe the best deals, and we try to help each other out. There's, the power of, Facebook. Again, there's the, Ryan has the page, Maximizing Your Shopping Annuity, Tips and Strategies, which is awesome. Everybody needs to go to that, and we need to help each other out. If somebody finds a deal or there's a store that we don't know about, then, let's work together as a whole team, everybody in this business. Let's all do this together, and it'll be a nice, easy ride.
Great. Don, you want to mention that site for a second?
Yeah. Oh, sure, yeah. Maximize Your Shopping Annuity, period, tips and strategies, and it's great. There's a great amount of information that gets put out every week, and one of the most important things is almost every Sunday we'll put out features of exclusive branded product, and we talk about the return on investment there too, so people realize some people might get in the business because they saved a bunch of money on advanced auto parts one day, and they loved it because of the coupon codes they have, and now all of a sudden they got in the business and they know nothing about the exclusive brands. So having people engage in that site, we really take an active role, Ryan, myself, and a lot of other leaders, to make sure people become aware on exclusive product, and also teaching people to make a purchase weekly. Because the reality of it is, if you're not buying from yourself every week in this business, you're spending your money in someone else's business. And it's true. I don't understand how people don't make an order every single week, because if they're not, they have to spend their money somewhere else. Right. But just to digress for 1 second on the meeting, when I do that, and I just want to point out here, sometimes your first shot at meeting people and talking to people is your last shot. And I like to only take those 3, 4, 5 minutes to talk about the concept and how this is kind of a secret that's kept to the few, that now is open to the many, and you're the first shot at it. And once they get it, and I ask them, is this something you want to learn more about? I get right into it, because I still fall in the class that our plan is perfect, as Frank used to always say. Our plan is perfect, and you can't touch are MPCP. So when you capture their attention and you get them to understand the big picture of the shopping annuity, which is just as simple as we put it, then just get to it and show them the business plan, because when you can show them infinite search to infinity, where they can capture that, accrual of volume until you get paid where it won't reset at the end of a month and frustrate you, placement of people and volume down in a group, and also re-entries and things like that. That catches people's attention, and they'll, just like we did when you started, Frank, and all the pioneers started, people love the plan. They still do, so keep talking about it for sure.
Great, great. Guys, you did a great job. I think this was really helpful to a lot of people. Appreciate you coming out. Thanks, everybody, for a tremendous day. We'll see you again tomorrow. Appreciate everything. Thank you.